How's it going, everybody? This is Anthony with the VR Game Rankings YouTube show. You guys, of course, are dialed into the daily vlog series. This is episode 134. It is Friday, April 6th. We got a lot of stuff to cover today, so I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. But before we start with the news, I do have some show notes to talk about, and this is mainly for longtime viewers of the show. Next week, I'm planning on experimenting with this show and providing some major changes. Basically, the big thing that is going to happen is the show length is going to change dramatically. I'm actually going to try to do a very short show. I'm talking 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. That's kind of what I'm talking about on the show next week. It's going to be a big change. It's going to be a huge change. Now, why am I doing this? I'm not actually doing this to try to save myself time and spend less time on this. I plan on spending the same amount of time that I'm spending right now, maybe even more time than I'm spending right now. So I'm not doing it for that. What I'm doing it for is I want to try basically a different kind of a concept with the show where there isn't a lot of mistakes, a lot of verbal flubs, a lot of just unpleasantries that go on throughout the show. This show has been relatively casual. I get up here, I record myself. I don't do multiple takes, so there's lots of little mistakes, lots of little verbal miscues, and all kinds of things like that. And I let most of that stuff slide. I do edit out a little bit here and there once in a while, but I let a lot of it slide. And so what I'm going to try to do with this much shorter show is it's going to be more tightly focused. There's not going to be a lot of strain off the beaten path. I hope to eliminate all the verbal flubs and any of those kind of miscues and just have a much tighter, dialed in show. Now, the one downside is when I sometimes go off on these 3 or 4 minute rants, I can't really do that in this new show, because if I do, that just takes up like 1/3 of the entire episode, and I don't really want to do that. So it will be a little different from that regard, but basically this is going to be an experiment. So I ask for your patience throughout the week next week. I'm going to be learning on the job. It's a completely different way for me to do the show, and it's going to be an experiment. So we'll just have to see how it works out. But basically, I'm going to allow myself the full entire week. Monday could be a disaster. Tuesday could be pretty bad. I figure by Wednesday or Thursday, I'll finally kind of get the hang of it. And by Friday, I should probably be used to it. And then I'll just have to make a decision. Do I like this new, shorter style, or do I want to go back to the longer form shows? So it's experimentation. This is how I have to learn. This is how I have to get better. And this is what is going to happen. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up as far as that is concerned. But we got a lot of stuff to get into today. And so let's just go ahead and get the party started. So story numero uno, Beat Saber is coming on May 1st. Now, I had a show a while back where I was ranting and raving about this rhythm action game Beat Saber. Like I said before, we've got quite a few rhythm action games in VR already. We have Audio Shield, we've got Soundboxing, we've got Airtone, we've got Thumper. There's lots of different games that kind of fall into this general category, and we don't really desperately need another rhythm action game. But if anybody has seen these trailers, and I'm sure you guys have seen them, it looks absolutely fantastic. And so I think even though we don't necessarily need another one of these games, this could be the best one of the bunch by far, and we are getting this game on May 1st. I gotta say, one thing that we've seen in the VR gaming industry so far this year, I thought it was going to be kind of slow in the first half of 2018, but it's been anything but slow. So many games are coming out. So much stuff is happening. This has been a beautiful thing. And May 1st, we get Beat Saber. Now, we do not have a price. My guess, I'm going to say $29.99 is the price, but that is just a random guess. We'll have to find out when we get a little bit closer to launch. Alrighty, let's go into story number 2. Story number 2, there are some daily deals that are going on Oculus that I thought I would mention. Now, of course, this is the Friday episode. I'm usually a little bit late on Friday, and these deals expire at midnight tonight. So there's probably only going to be 3 or 4 hours left in these deals by the time I finally upload this episode, so I do apologize for that. But Arctica 1 and the original Project Cars, they are both daily deals today for Oculus, and they are both available for $15. Now, really, Arctica 1 is the one I really want to highlight here. I still think Arctica 1 is one of the most impressive VR demonstrations that we have. It is Action Jackson. Now, does it have some issues? It really does, because the locomotion, the movement system is a little bit awkward. You're basically going from node to node. But if you've ever wanted a VR game where you have guns in your hand and you feel like you are dealing some serious punishment and your guns are bam, 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 you really feel the visceral nature of your guns. There's great gunplay with this game. It really feels like a Michael Bay movie. I've said that a million times, but Arctica 1 really does feel like a Michael Bay production. It is a lot of stuff is going on. There's a lot of production value, really good sound, really good visuals. At $15, I think it is a must grab. So if you don't already have Arctica 1, I highly suggest grabbing yourself Arctica 1. And then the one other deal that I wanted to mention, Arizona Sunshine. Now, Arizona Sunshine is on sale a lot of places right now for $23.99, but Green Man Gaming had a special deal where you could get Arizona Sunshine for $19.19, but this is your mileage may vary. I'm not sure if these codes are still in effect, but you want to go ahead and try either one of these codes. There's a code April 20, and there is also a code Disco 22. Okay, try either one of those codes, see if they're still in action. If they are, you can get Arizona Sunshine at a pretty good deal. If they're not active anymore, you can find the game for $23.99, which is also a relatively decent deal. All right, let's get into the next story. The next story is PAX East is going on right now as we speak, and Oculus is having Oculus Game Days at PAX East. If you happen to be in Boston and you happen to be there, you can try a number of different games at Oculus's booth. There's 5 different games that they are allowing the general public to try out. You can try out a new build of Vacation Simulator. You can get your hands on with Vacation Simulator. They also have Space Junkies by Ubisoft. They have a build of that you can try as well. Now, we're pretty familiar with both of these games. We've seen a lot of trailers of these games. We know a lot about these games, so they're not really any kind of big surprises, but there is some other stuff that they're showing off here as well. You got Vox Machina, which is basically this multiplayer mech game. Now, I can tell you guys, back when Archangel came out for all of the various platforms, one of the major complaints we all had was, man, Archangel, this game is on rails. It doesn't have a multiplayer. What I want is a multiplayer game that is off rails. I kind of want Chrome Hounds VR. I've heard a lot of people say that. Well, Vox Machina kind of looks like that, and I'm probably mispronouncing it. Vox Machina, I don't know, whatever it is. But basically, that's what this really looks like. Now, I know there's a really old demo out there, but it's not an up-to-date build. So if you are at PAX East, you might be able to try a much newer build of this game. This game is coming to us from Space Bullet, and we don't actually have a date for this game, but you got to imagine it is coming relatively soon. And then another game I want to mention is a game called Blind. Now, Blind is coming to us from Tiny Bull Studios, and it's being described as a narrative-driven psychological thriller where the player is blind and they must explore their surroundings using echolocation. Now, that sounds really similar to a game called Stifled, which came out on PlayStation VR a while back. In the game Stifled, you would make noise. There's a little microphone, of course. You would make noise, and anytime you made noise, it would kind of give you a visual representation of the world, but you had monsters that you were dealing with, so you wanted to be really quiet, but you had to make noise to see where the hell you were going. That was this game, Stifled. Blind sounds very similar, and actually I do have a description that is right off of their official website, and I'll go ahead and read you guys this description. It says, "What is it that you don't see? Where are you? Who is the warden? Why has he kidnapped you? And why does he want you to solve the puzzles in this strange place? Experience a constant anxiety and emotional tension as you travel deeper into a mansion riddled with puzzles and dangers. As you search for answers, will you find things you'd rather not see?" So anyway, that is this game called Blind. This is going to be coming in the near future for Oculus, and we're looking forward to that. And then the other one that they had is a game called Paper Valley. Now, Paper Valley, I understand that this is coming exclusively to the Oculus store on April 19th. So this one is going to be coming very soon, and there is a description for this. The description reads, "Unlock the hidden secrets of a peaceful land filled with crumbling statues and strange monuments. Throw paper planes to explore a forgotten civilization and restore its ruins in this relaxing adventure game with a simple control scheme that players of all levels can enjoy." And so looking at some of the different videos and some of the different artwork of this game, it looks very colorful. It looks like it really kind of sets a mood. I'd have to imagine that if you really liked Zing, The Land Beyond, and if you kind of like these more experiential type games, more relaxing kind of games, this kind of looks like that. I don't know that this is going to be a puzzler in the way that Zing, The Land Beyond is, but it does look interesting. It's very colorful. It has a unique art style, and this, of course, is coming on April 19th, so we do not have to wait too long to get our hands on Paper Valley. Okay, the next story I have for you, a while back, the Mage's Tale finally arrived on the HTC Vive. But when it first arrived, there was some problems. Some HTC Vive owners were complaining about a lot of issues. In fact, MameFan, which is somebody that you'll see comment on these shows relatively frequently, a good friend of mine actually, he went and got this game right away. I feel a little bit personally responsible for it because I've kind of ranted and raved about the Mage's Tale. I feel like it's a really good dungeon crawler. It's got a lot of content. It lasts like 9 or 10 hours. It's not one of these games you're going to blow through in an afternoon. I felt like it has really good voice work, very good graphics, lots of good stuff going on about the Mage's Tale. But you know, my buddy MameFan, he bought this game right away for his HTC Vive, and he was telling me that it's got a lot of problems with the locomotion, with like how you move. There's just certain issues with it. Well, they have patched the game, and so hopefully they have fixed a lot of the problems that people were complaining about. They basically added two major things. First of all, what they added was controller-based movement. So instead of moving in the direction that your head is facing, you actually move in the direction that your controller is facing. So for example, if you want to go down this hallway, but you want to look over there while you're going down this hallway, you can hold out your hand, you move down this hallway, your head is decoupled. So you can move your head around, look in whatever direction you want. That is controller-based movement, and it is a great thing that they've added this. The other main thing they added, and this is more specifically to HTC Vive players, is touch to move. Now, apparently the problem that was happening here is that when you were using the trackpad to move, you really had to deliberately press down in a certain direction. Like if you wanted to move that way, you really had to press down. You wanted to go backwards, you really had to press down. Left or right, you really had to press down. Well, this is a little bit different because you can kind of just put your thumb on the trackpad and you just kind of barely move your thumb in whichever direction, and it will have that kind of a smooth movement without having to kind of go out of your way to push down. Now, I don't know if either of these changes have really solved all the problems out there, but anybody out there that does does have the Vive version. Maybe you can try this update and tell us if this has fixed all the problems. Mage's Tale is a good game. I really hope they patch it up, get it working right, because it is a high quality dungeon crawler. Okay, next story we have, Noire has been patched for older Intel CPUs. Now, this one actually speaks to me personally because ever since Noire has come out, I've never really been able to enjoy the game. Even back, I tried this game a number of times. I've tried different little GitHub patches and stuff to try to get it working on my Oculus Rift and get it up and running. And I actually was able to get into the game. I got into the very start of the game where you're at like an office desk and you're kind of opening your drawers, but I never got past that. Well, now it has been patched to work with older Intel CPUs, which I happen to have an i5 2500K from the year of our Lord 2011. Yeah, I bought this way back in spring 2011. This processor is still holding up rather well. I have it overclocked to the high heavens. It is a really good performer, but it doesn't include some instruction sets that newer CPUs have added over the years. And so this Noire has been patched, so hopefully older CPUs like mine will work. Now, I went ahead and jumped into Noire. Earlier this morning, I wanted to see, can I get the thing to work? And there's good news and bad news. The good news is when I first got in there, the title screen popped up. I heard the music, just all kinds of stuff. I never saw any of that stuff before. Even though I got into the game, it was all janky. Well, now it seemed like the game was working great. And I was like, oh, good. Everything is working beautifully. But the one problem I had still is at certain points it tells you to press A to start the game or whatever, and I'm pressing A, I'm pressing A, I'm pressing A, nothing is happening. Finally, it kind of clicked and it moved to this point where it says, now look at the wall. And so you're looking at this wall and it's like new, load, cases, exit, and I have it on new, I'm looking at new, I'm hitting the A button, nothing is happening. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but everything else looked really good. The sound was working, the title screen was working. I had never seen any of that stuff before. So hopefully after this show is over, I'll go back in there, see if I can figure what's going on, but it does seem to be running a little bit better if I could actually get into the game. So I'm hoping to finally be able to check out Noire with a first-hand impression. And then lastly, before we get out of here, just wanted to mention I continue to play Skyrim VR. I continue to be impressed by Skyrim VR. I definitely blew it the other day when I had those negative things to say about it. And I was playing it more last night and I got to this one area. It's called Bloated Man's Grotto. And I was exploring that area. It was really cool. I really like the stars, the moonlight. You look up in the sky, you can see like an eagle flying around every once in a while. The music is stirring. I was in another part of Skyrim where it started raining and it's just like Fallout 4 VR. I don't know what it is about like rain and VR, but there's something I just love about being in an environment. The rain starts trickling down. The rain gets a little bit harder. You might have some thunder. You might have some lightning. It is very atmospheric, really like it, having a lot of fun with that. So I continue to play around with Skyrim VR. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for today's episode for Friday, April 6th. Once again, major changes are going to happen next week. Much shorter shows. It is an experimentation. Please bear with me on this experimentation. My hope is the shows will be shorter, but they'll be a lot better. But you know what? It's a trial thing, so we'll see how it works out. But don't be incredibly shocked when you log into YouTube on Monday and you see like an 8-minute episode. It's not a weird thing. It's just this experiment that I'm trying. So we'll see how all of that works out. But everybody have a wonderful weekend. If you have a PlayStation VR, continue to bang away on Wipeout VR, an incredible game. I'm also going to play some more Island Time VR. Remember, Sprint Vector, the free game this weekend. Not only that, but remember Saturday between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. Pacific time, get into a sprint vector multiplayer game because you'll have a chance to win some nice prizes. And definitely try out sprint vector. See if you guys could finally come to grips with the controls. I never quite could, but I still have a lot of fun with the game. I still play the game, still enjoy it, even though I can't really wrap my head around the dang controls. But that's going to go ahead and do it, guys. I'll see everybody on Monday. Take it easy. Later.